what's going to happen to my grandchildren and to most of us is that we will be working for companies which do not provide a retirement plan or a pension.
You're watching the Spotlight Network, starring Hollywood's newsman,
And if you're just
Logan
to
Crawford.
investigators, they now believe a single member.
He works with TV and film legends. And now, Logan's shining the spotlight on the world's top emerging authors and creators.
International were abducted.
This is Spotlight with Logan Crawford, streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV.
I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're diving into a practical and inspiring guide to smart investing and lifelong financial growth. The name of the book we're talking about today is called Growing Your Nest Egg, and it's written by a wonderful author and one of my favorite guests. His name is John W. Weiser, and in the book, he distills decades of wisdom from Wall Street and his own experiences to help young adults and anyone new to investing understand how to build wealth steadily and wisely. From stocks and bonds to the power of compound interest, this book shows you that it's never too early or too late to start planning for financial freedom. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today. We thank the team at Bookside Press for helping us put him on TV today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. John, thank you so much for joining me here today.
My pleasure. Delighted to be with you.
Great to have you back on the show. This book you wrote for young people like your grandchildren so they can understand investing. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration and why you wrote it.
Well, I have 12 grandchildren, and a young lady called Claudia, who is a graduate of college and out there in the world, called me up and she said, I'd like to invest with you so I could learn. And I thought about it, and I wrote an introduction that seemed to me better for me to write a short introduction to investing rather than try to get involved in what I do personally. So that was the inspiration, and she did read the book along the way and gave me some comments which were helpful. And now I've sent it to my grandchildren, and I hope they implement it, because time is the most important element. The sooner you begin, the better off you are.
Yeah.
Time is your big ally.
Exactly. Time is the secret sauce. If you invest even $1,000 when a child is born in a mutual fund, by the time they're 65 years old, it's worth nearly $1 million, right? Because of the compounding effect of investing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what people.
And I do that. I put aside a little money for each of my grandchildren when they were born. And by the time they go to college, it's a huge leg up for them in paying their tuitions.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So again, it's just the power of the time.
Exactly, because at year one, it's $1,000. At year 5, it's $3,000 or $4,000, and the growth is exponential, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful. What are some of the other tips that you give young people when it comes to investing? I would imagine investing regularly is a big part of it as well.
Yes. I also recommend that they consider buying a house, because buying a house has been, for most of us, our most successful investment for 2 reasons. First of all, there is inflation in the country. And if you buy a house in a decent neighborhood, prices generally tend to go up because more people want to move into that neighborhood. And secondly, when you buy a house, you usually only pay a percentage of the price, and you get a mortgage for the rest. But when the house is sold, the entire profit goes to you.
Yeah.
Because the mortgage is paid off at face value. So they don't participate in the increase in value. So it's a wonderful way to make money.
It is. And then the appreciation of the property itself. You might buy a house at $500,000, and when you sell it 30 years later or 40 years later, it might be worth 3, 4, 5 Who knows how many
Yes.
times? I mean, particularly with today's housing prices, you know,
Right.
it's really tough on young people today. The housing
Yes.
prices, I mean, you live in a beautiful area of California. I can't imagine buying a house there for less than $1 million nowadays, right?
Yes. Fortunately, I didn't have to buy. I'm living in a retirement community, and we don't buy. We just pay rent.
Okay. Okay. But you have different goals and different needs as a senior
Yes.
citizen as opposed
Yes.
to young people starting out, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. So buy property, great adventure, great advice. Buying a second property is great advice too. If you could get a rental income, I'd imagine that's important as well.
Yes. But
Yeah.
I don't get into that. I basically say if you can buy a house, fine. Then consider saving enough money that you can get into the stock market and participate in the growth of the US economy over time. And when you look at the different funds that are available, we discuss various kinds of funds. I finally, in the end, recommend that they buy an index fund,
Mhm.
which is a way of participating in the entire market. I remember reading one very interesting article by a fellow in the Wall Street Journal, and he said if you want to invest in artificial intelligence, buy the whole market.
Mhm.
And the reason is it's very hard to predict who's going to come out ahead in the race for artificial intelligence. So rather than trying to bet on a particular horse, you just bet on the whole market, knowing that a variety of companies will benefit. And in fact, the whole economy will benefit from this improvement in our technology.
Yeah. Great advice. Individual stock picking is risky. That stock could completely disappear. But if you buy into a mutual fund that is concentrated in the AI sector, you've got much less exposure to risk, and you're still going to get the great exponential gains, hopefully, as that sector rises, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. AI is such an amazing concept. It's really going to be a game changer for our economy, don't you think?
Very hard to very hard to understand how these machines can do all those wonderful things.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
amazing. You think of the improvements there will be in finding new medicines, in finding other breakthroughs that would take us ordinary human beings years. These
Yeah.
machines can do it in days.
Yeah,
So
milliseconds sometimes, you know.
yes,
And they'll
right.
be able to look at blood work and lab work and look at a million different factors that an average doctor actually wouldn't have time to invest and look in. And yeah, I think AI is going to be a great game changer. I think there's going to be some downsides to it as well. I think people are going to lose their jobs in many cases because
Yes,
they will be
yes,
replaced by machines, but hopefully other jobs come along and make life better for the bulk of us. You
yes.
talk about in the book the importance of a nest egg. Talk to us about that.
Well, what's going to happen to my grandchildren and to most of us is that we will be working for companies which do not provide a retirement plan or a pension,
Mhm.
so that you have to provide for your own retirement. And most of my children will retire in their 60s and live into their 90s.
Yeah,
So they've got to take care of themselves for 30 years or more. So you need a substantial amount of money, which is what I call the nest egg. And you want to build that by starting early, continuing to invest as you can, and eventually hope to have enough when you retire that you don't have to rely on your own children to support you. You can take care of yourself. You have
yeah,
Social Security, but that's a relatively small amount. So you really do need to have a substantial sum set aside to support yourself in your retirement.
yeah, absolutely. And it, like you said, it's never too early to start, and the earlier you start, the better. If you can start saving as soon as you enter the workforce, great. Because if you start at 21, you're going to be in much better shape than if you start at 31, 41, and beyond, of course, because of that compounding effect of money.
Absolutely.
How do you suggest parents and grandparents introduce financial education to children?
Well, I think they can start asking them to start saving money for the things they'd like, even if it's not retirement. If they'd like a bicycle or something else, suggest that they begin saving for it.
Mm.
And maybe the parent can match some of their savings. But at least they get into the habit of putting a little bit of money aside and they begin to see the benefit of doing that.
Yeah. So much is handed to kids today.
Yes,
We live in a time of abundance where people have a lot of money, and have a lot of resources, and they can buy that bicycle no problem. And it's not necessarily the best thing. I remember getting a bike as a kid. It was a huge ordeal. And, to get my mother to come up with the money for that bicycle that I wanted, probably took years of convincing her. You know what I mean? But all of that
yes,
wanting, all of the, like you said, the errands around the house to make some extra money and mowing lawns so you could contribute towards it were important. Those are valuable
yes,
life lessons. There's valuable lessons to be learned in struggle, don't you think, John?
yes, yes.
Yeah, with that.
Work for success.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
How do you feel that young adults can develop an investor's mindset? How do they start understanding the concepts of compounding interest and so forth and exponential growth?
Well, I think probably the key element is that of time, how
Mm.
important time is, and how to use time in your favor to
Yeah,
get things going. It doesn't happen immediately, but if you're patient and you work at it, you can make a big impact.
yeah, absolutely. It's also important to not try to time the market, but rather invest regularly, right? It's better to do it
Yes,
weekly or monthly or whatever the case might be, as opposed to waiting for the market to go down or the market to go up. It's hard to time markets, right?
absolutely. No, that's really a fool's errand trying to time the market,
Yeah,
which is why investing regularly and not worrying about how it's going up or down, just keep investing. Because
yeah.
when the market is low, you can get more for your money. When the market is high, you get less for your money. But if
Mm.
you keep doing it steadily, it'll average out in your favor.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Warren Buffett is written about in your book. Why is he a significant figure in your writing?
Well, Warren Buffett is certainly one of the wisest men around,
Mhm.
and he's not afraid to share his learning. Every year he has this annual meeting of shareholders, and hundreds of people come to the meeting. But during the meeting, he usually has a question and answer session that runs for several hours, where he answers questions from everybody that wants to ask a question in the room.
Mm.
And for years, I used to get transcripts of those questions and answers and read them.
Mm.
And I learned an awful lot because he sees things very clearly, he expresses them very clearly, he has great insight. So for a long time, my key investment, indeed, in this book, I started out recommending that they buy shares in Warren Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway. But as the book was ending, Warren Buffett said he was going to retire from the
Mhm.
company. That kind of changed my view. And then his number two man, Ajit Jain, who is the head of the insurance group, also indicated he was retiring. And I thought, well, maybe I can't bet as much on Berkshire Hathaway anymore.
Yeah.
So I told my kids move over to an index fund.
Mhm.
But Berkshire Hathaway and Warren Buffett can give you life lessons every day.
Yeah.
And his partner, Charlie Munger, is another brilliant man. And so whenever I see a speech by Warren Buffett, I try to listen to it because there's always wisdom in what he says.
Yeah.
Very solid man
Exactly.
and a
He is the
very,
oracle. He is a great guy who has a lot of great wisdom and insight to share. I've had you on the show a couple of times. We've talked about A Thousand Kisses. Now we've talked about Nest Egg. Wondering if you're working on anything else right now, John.
I'm thinking of something else, but I haven't got there yet.
Yeah.
because it would
Okay.
require quite a bit of research. I'm not sure I'm up for all that.
Oh, I think you're
I'd
up for
like to
any.
do something else.
I think you're up for any task at hand, my friend. I
We'll
think you're up.
see.
Yeah, we'll
We'll
see where
see.
the inspiration drives you and where it takes you. This book, folks, is great. Get it for yourself, get it for your kids, get it for the family, discuss it, practice what John prescribes in this book. Get them invested in an index fund at a young age. Chart how it grows over the course of a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Wonderful advice throughout. Young people, if you're listening, John is a wise man. He's seen it all over the years, and getting that house as soon as you can is so vital as well. Lots of great advice in here. We've touched on some of the things today, but there's much, much more in the book. The book is called Growing Your Nest Egg. In it, John Weiser distills decades of wisdom from Wall Street and his own experiences to help young adults and anyone new to investing to understand how to build wealth steadily and wisely. And that's what it comes down to. Do it wisely, do it steadily, and invest over time. John, thanks so much for joining me here today.
Thank you, Logan. You're a wonderful guy to have on my side. Thank you very much.
Right back at you, John. Like having you on my side as well. Always enjoy speaking with you. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time.